Ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a guest in just a moment. We want to take you live now to Los Angeles, California, where the manhunt is still underway for the man who fired a semi-automatic weapon in the Jewish Community Center shortly before 11 o'clock this morning. The one person in critical condition from that shooting, we're told, has now been upgraded slightly. But we want to take you live to Los Angeles so you know exactly what's happening now. We are certain at this point that at least the man has not been found. Let's go live to L.A.
Semi-automatic weapon. They're still looking for this suspect, and as to the motive, police say at this point they have no idea why this gunman shot this place up. The shooting occurred before 11 a.m. California time at the North Valley Jewish Community Center in Granada Hills. So far, authorities report at least 5 people were shot, including 3 children ages 5, 6, and 8, and 2 women.
She said that a young man, I guess in his 40s, walked in, and she saw him coming at her, and I guess he just started open firing.
The sketchy information that we have is for suspect information. That it's a male, Caucasian, approximately 40-year-old, also bald, wearing green clothing.
Immediately after the shooting, dozens of officers with guns drawn searched the area for the gunman.
Still a very volatile situation here.
Police have located a red van that the suspect may have used to drive to the scene.
There was an extensive amount of ammunition in the vehicle, possibly some bulletproof vests, apparently no weapons.
It's very emotional to see your Los Angeles Police Department actually leading these children to an area of safety.
The Jewish Community Center is located in the San Fernando Valley and consists of a large main building, a smaller house-like structure, a pool, and tennis courts. The center provides nursery programs, childcare, and camp activities for kids.
This is a sad day for the city of Los Angeles.
As police looked for the shooter, parents and family members rushed to the Jewish Center to check on their children. Police did their best to console concerned parents. So far, no word on the motive for the shooting attack. Today's attack comes on the heels of recent killings by a gunman in office buildings in the Atlanta area, and of course, the terrible Columbine tragedy that took many student lives. Now, this is still a very fluid situation here in Granada Hills, but let me update you with the following. That red van that we just mentioned, it was found in Van Nuys, and in that vehicle, possibly belonging to the suspect here, they found, among other things, smoke grenades and survivalist equipment, including survivalist food. One additional thing, shortly after that van was abandoned by a suspect matching that same description carjacked a vehicle. And police believe that there's some possible connection between those 2 crimes. So at this point, the manhunt still continues looking for this lone gunman. Live in Granada Hills, I'm Manny Medrano. Back to you now.
Thank you, Manny. The latest on all of this live on the 10 o'clock news with David Johnson. Immediately following Night Talk, to let you know who our guests are tonight, we're going to talk by telephone with George and Tracy Miller. They, as you may or may not know, are porn stars on the internet, but they were also nurses at a hospital in Scottsdale, Arizona. And as soon as the nursing officials, the hospital officials, that is, became aware of their status on the internet, they were fired. The Millers are fighting the firing. We'll talk via the telephone both to the Millers and to their attorney in Winter Park, Florida. And then, for the remainder of the hour, why we're bringing somebody over from another TV station. It's a topsy-turvy world, I tell you. Scott Baker, Channel 4 anchorman, will be with us. So we hope you stay with us for the balance of the program. Back in a moment on Night Talk. Stay with us.
The official transportation provider of Night Talk is Pittsburgh Limousine. Whether it's for business or a special night on the town, Pittsburgh Limousine is the one clear choice in transportation. Night Talk is brought to you in part by Coffee & Culp, the Roof Guys.
Back on Night Talk, we want to tell you once again about the story of former Pittsburgh area residents, by the way, George and Tracy Miller. And we learned the background about how they were recently fired after their employers at a hospital in Arizona discovered their internet porn site. Take a look. Well, we'll be taking a look in just a moment. It seems that technical difficulties abound at the Pittsburgh Cable News Channel, and that would actually be no surprise considering the level of equipment we have. But you know, it really is an interesting story. These guys claim that they started their porn site in order to fund a college fund for their 2 young children. And here now is that report.
On your computer screen is Dakota Ray, billed as your not-so-average housewife. Dakota Ray claims she holds nothing back when it comes to sex. Anyone willing to pay $14.95 a month can watch on the web nude. In real life, Dakota Ray is Tracy Miller, a Green Tree native. Her husband, George, is from Moon Township. Both just lost their jobs as nurses at a Scottsdale, Arizona hospital. The reason? The hospital claims the couple sexually harassed co-workers by trying to recruit them to appear on the website. The Millers deny it.
I don't see how it could unless they actually were staring at it all day long in the work environment. I don't see how it could make them uncomfortable.
Do I feel that I sexually harassed anybody? No. If they looked at the site, it was because they wanted to look at the site.
Before the site went up, George says his work as a part-time critical care nurse was good enough to get him a full-time job offer from Scottsdale Healthcare.
They came to you?
That is correct.
And they asked you to go full-time?
That is correct.
Now they're firing you?
Now I'm terminated, and according to them, I'm a discipline problem and a sexual harasser.
I don't think it should make a difference what a person does in their private life as long as it doesn't affect their job. I said that from the beginning, and that's what I'm sticking with. If it does not affect your performance on the job, I don't think that it matters.
We're back live now, and hopefully we have on the telephone George and Tracy Miller, live from Scottsdale, Arizona, and their attorney Larry Walters, live from Winter Park, Florida. George and Tracy, you with us?
We are.
We're here.
Wonderful. How about you, Larry?
I'm here.
Okay. George and Tracy, you categorically deny all these allegations that you were soliciting other people that you work with to be on the website.
Well, actually, I'm not sure where that came from.
Really? Oh, all right. Tell us the truth then. Well,
it's not a matter of telling the truth. I think your story said that Tracy or I made that accusation.
No, no. The story didn't say that.
Okay. No. I may have heard it wrong.
That's all right. So anyway, I guess what I mean is that's the fact, according to you guys, that you didn't approach anybody, right?
That's correct. We did not.
Okay. And what do they must have what they claim as evidence to support that? Either that or they've got an awfully weak case, I would think. Did they say, oh, we've got names of people you approached or anything like that?
They had mentioned to us that there were a few people that we approached and asked them to be on the website. First of all, like I said, that is untrue, and I asked for those names, or at least asked to be co-interviewed with those people, and that was turned down as well. And I was told if I wanted to see those records, they would have to be subpoenaed.
And let me ask you, did anybody, because I would think they might approach you guys who you worked with, maybe even off hours, which would have allowed for somebody to misconstrue at some point?
You know, I don't know that we have any from our hospital in particular. Just there are nurses in the Valley who have, since then emailed us and said they wanted to be part of our website as well.
And Larry Walters, you're the attorney who is trying to get their job reinstated. Are you also seeking damages?
Well, that all depends on the actions of the hospital in the upcoming hearing on reinstatement. We have filed an appeal of the dismissal and are asking for reinstatement and a public apology for the hospital's actions. I think it's kind of telling as to how strong the hospital case is, since they won't even let the Miller's lawyer, myself, appear at the hearing and represent them. But we will, in the absence of a reinstatement, be seeking damages and back pay and attorney's fees and punitive damages in court.
Larry, how can they bar you from attending the hearing? I don't understand.
Well, that's an interesting question. I've never heard of anything like that in any kind of administrative hearing context.
Oh, all right. So this is a hospital-sponsored hearing.
It's a hospital hearing, yes, and it's also, in my opinion, a violation of due process.
Yeah, well, I'm no attorney, but I would think at least you'd have a shot at a case there. George and Tracy, this has been fairly profitable for you guys. Tell me if this is accurate. For example, in the last 3 months, according to the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette here, you guys earned a little over $50,000 from this.
That is true.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is primarily for a college, not that it really matters in my opinion, frankly, but it's primarily for a college fund for your kids?
Right, yeah. We had started this primarily to just make some extra money, to set aside for the kids' college fund, and we had thought, hey, from the beginning, if we just made a couple $100s a month doing this part-time, then that would be great. But yes, that is how it started.
And I suppose, have you raised a goodly amount of money for that, for the fund?
Well, we're putting away some of the money, but obviously right now we're not employed as nurses, so we do need to live too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, of course, it's outrageous if all of their allegations are untrue that you were fired. And so, once again, there were no communications between you and any other workers at the hospital that anybody could have even misinterpreted as you approaching them.
No, not by me. Tracy, you?
No, not at all. Not at all.
And what was the reaction of your colleagues when they found out about it? And do you think maybe they're the ones who should be investigated for queuing up your website on company time?
Well, I think that's something the hospital needs to look at. We've mentioned to them several times, not only did nurses look up our website, they also printed out documents at home and brought them in and passed them out off of our website, which I think is a copyright infringement, if I'm not mistaken, for one thing. And two, it would be a direct policy problem as far as bringing printed pornography into the hospital and passing it out.
Were you embarrassed at all when they found out, or since you decided to do it in the first place, is it water off your back?
Well, you've seen Tracy's pictures. That girl has nothing to be embarrassed about.
Well, I would concur. Yeah, I'm not. I'm not suggesting that, but you know how there are some members of society who might be a little bit more conservative, who might have sort of a frenzied reaction, if you will, or a "oh my God" reaction.
Well, that would be them, but we can't speak for them.
Right. So anyway, you're going to continue the website, and I guess the only good part about all of this is I would assume it's great publicity for the site. I realize you want your jobs back, but have you had a lot more hits since all of this hullabaloo?
Well, the site itself has done better. I mean, Touchable.com has definitely grown with the media attention, but it would have grown anyhow. It was growing on a daily basis prior to us being suspended and prior to the media. But there's no question that media attention has helped the site along. But no way could it replace our nursing jobs. Myself, I've been in healthcare for 17 years. This website's been around for 3 months. I mean, there's a big difference there.
And you guys both got nursing degrees at the Community College of Allegheny County?
Beaver County.
Of Beaver County,
Yeah,
right.
actually, it's Beaver County.
And any reaction from the folks back home in Pittsburgh about your website and/or the lawsuit?
Well, we have had some email from friends of ours back in the Pittsburgh area, and most of it's been supportive. My family still lives in Pittsburgh, and they, although they might not agree with what I'm doing, they're behind me 100%. They support my right to privacy, my right to express myself, doing things on my off time that doesn't affect my professional life. Obviously, they support that fact, that First Amendment issue.
They were a bit taken aback, though, when they first learned of the site itself?
They were, but they took it quite well. I have great parents.
I'm happy to hear that. Well, so Larry Walters, the attorney, what's your next step here?
So the next step, again, is to see the outcome of the hearing on the reinstatement issue. And in the event that that's unsuccessful and that the hospital persists in their dismissal of the Millers, then we'll be forced into court. And at that point, it'll be up to a judge or a jury to decide whether employers can invade a person's private life and basically dictate to them what they can do in their off time.
And that, in your view, what the case is all about in a nutshell, whatever they do in their own time is their own business if it doesn't affect their work.
Yeah, I think that's really the bigger issue that's raised here is how far can an employer go? Can they tell you what movies you can watch on your off time and what activities you can be involved in? And it's scary if that's the case.
Okay, and George and Tracy, any final thoughts from you tonight?
No, I was curious. I wish we were able to see what you put up on your TV screen there, but
we put still photos of the website, nothing particularly graphic, since we're a family television program.
Absolutely, absolutely.
How did you even? What are you? Are you psychic? How did you know we were putting stuff up on the screen?
We heard you saying that you were trying to put it up, but you were having technical difficulties with your cable. And
You must have heard the control room people. All our wires are crossed. This whole place is soldered together. It's a lot of chewing gum and Scotch tape. But we hope you won't let the low rent nature of our facilities stop you from coming back on and updating us at some point in the near future if we give you a call.
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
Good luck to you. Because if you didn't do anything that the hospital says that you did, I'm in your corner, by Godfrey.
We appreciate that.
Thank you very much, sir.
And Larry Walters, attorney, thank you so much for coming on the program. We'll be in touch with you as well.
Thanks. We'll do what we can.
Back in a moment, we will talk to Scott Baker, Channel 4 anchorman. We'll find out what he probably surfs this site constantly. We'll find out what he thinks about it. Stay with us. Back on Night Talk, ladies and gentlemen. Here's live and in color, high up top Television Hill. It's Channel 4 anchorman Scott Baker.
Live on porno night, apparently.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, I didn't know that was going to be the setup. I got to you know how to.
Right, absolutely. You know, you have children. Love the Ruth Ann Baker, who's going to for the Tribune Review.
Yeah, we had 3 children and not yet college.
But neither of you 5 of them, the little kids.
Well, just wanted to go away.
Yeah, you. But that would work.
How do you
that would fly.
That?
You would probably be fired, but that would fly.
How do you explain that to the kids, though, down the road? Well, the other thing I wanted to do is like, and then I watched the Night Talk program.
Religiously.
Well, not
every now and then.
Relatively.
Once in a blue moon.
I used to watch it nearly every night when I was working the night shift. I the night shift, so now it's hard for me to catch because the broadcast is at 5 on at 5.
Right. Yeah.
And not in the sometimes I'm still dealing with children. If I get them successfully to bed, I'll check it out.
Kids watch because Night Talk.
Right, but the way point is, I know that you're always thorough. I know that you're always journalistic, but it just seemed to me that the Night Talk staff and crew had done like extra research on the first segment tonight. I mean, it just seemed like there was an inordinate amount of preparation.
Sir, who is this guy again? Baker, Scott Baker, Channel 4 anchorman. Yes.
Research on this gentleman would have been?
Research, he's the guy on TV across town.
So you skip the research on the rest of the show in order for to spend all day researching the first segment.
Well, producer J.C. Smith, who you just heard, their producer-director and all-around groovy guy, the artist formerly known as J.C. Smith, did indeed spend all day in front of the computer making sure that we had every possible photo that we could get in order to get a full understanding and a complete review.
At untouchable.com.
Is that what it is?
She said, I guess that's what they said. I was just listening.
Is it untouchable.com?
Is it still stuff, or is there that you know, sort of freaky
Did they have any streaming video? Not that I would know what the name of it is, but did they have any streaming video, JC? You don't know? All right. Okay, yeah, he just took the
And was it just her? Or
no,
because there were no, I noticed that there were no still pictures of him.
According to the thorough research that we did, most of the pictures of her, there might be a couple of him.
Right.
But most of them are just her, sitting around the pool, on the phone, and laying around the house.
Right. And was the Chiron title, that was just what you guys, that wasn't the name of their next video, because it was like fired X-rated porno.
No, but we actually took that directly off the website page.
Fired X-rated.
Yes, because they have now, that's their front page. That is the cover page of their website, because it certainly gets your attention.
A little redundant, but.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, yeah.
Wait a minute, fired
X-rated porno nurse. I mean, I think the X-rated and the porno.
Not necessarily. What if he had really bad language or something?
I guess if you were deleting that. But if you knew with all of the publicity and you're a patient at their hospital, and she walks in, is that a good thing or a bad thing for you?
Good thing if I'm sick. I guess. Absolutely. I'll have Nurse Miller, please.
Yeah, but if you see
Miller time.
If you see him in the ER, you know, and you're in for your angioplasty, I don't know. I have some concerns.
I certainly want him to wash his hands. I can tell you that. What's the matter, Sal?
Yeah. Well, anyway, I'm so proud. In my broadcasting career, I had a chance to follow the fired X-rated porno nurses.
Let's take a break and see if we can't raise the level of the program, since he's so hoity-toity and fancy schmancy and Mr. Journalistic guy. Scott Baker's with us. Back in a moment on Night Talk. Stick around.
The official transportation provider of Night Talk is Pittsburgh Limousine, the one clear choice in transportation.
Ladies and gentlemen, back on Night Talk with Channel 4 anchorman Scott Baker. You were at the Night Talk 3 anniversary party, as we said. That was huge. 40 or 50 movers and shakers, eating pizza, drinking soda in a room was great.
Yeah, no, and it's kind of like a sort of strange, surreal, sort of Fellini movie-like TV show, and you're wandering through county executive candidates and Mr. McFeely and pro wrestlers and the Angels.
Angel, the Angel and the Halos. Yeah. I always did the same thing. Angels,
Angels, and Johnny Halo and the Angels.
It should be that.
Yeah. So I had a great time. You're like the king of the hill now.
Somebody once, not really, but we tried to create that impression. Someone once described it as the bar scene from Star Wars. I thought that was very accurate.
Without the Cantina band.
Right.
Yeah, and it looked like you were having a good time, although you have to be concentrating on it. Do you enjoy it when you go back and then actually watch it on tape?
That was actually the bit. We've done 3 now. We did the second anniversary with all the people. We did the holiday party with all the people. We did the 3rd anniversary with all the people. This was the luckiest. The fewest technical difficulties, the most organization. Jimmy Crenn as Beaver Cleaver was
I mean, that
classic.
wasn't Beaver Cleaver?
Hard to believe it.
Yeah, he had the lip down.
He was deadly accurate. By the way, I forgot to plug Monticello's for the free pizza that night.
Oh, and it was good, yes.
Was it good? Did you like the Monticello's pizza?
Oh, yeah. No,
Channel 4 anchorman Scott Baker says Monticello's is the tops. Great. Can't you do that?
Is there like a 20 under the?
No. I just have to give him a lot of plugs. I forgot to thank him that night.
Right, but now that's got to be like an adrenaline high for you, because you've put out for night in, night out here.
Kind of like
years.
Tracy Miller, yeah. Sorry.
I wasn't going to go in that direction. Do you guys have? Is there a secret website? Is the Night Talk website something I don't understand?
No, I don't think there. Never mind. There's supposed to be some sort of. Yeah, we've been working on it for like the 3 years that the program's been on. One of these years, we'll have a NightTalk website.
A NightTalk website.
Yeah.
Well, you don't need one.
You don't want to rush into one of those. So not like the internet is taking off or anything.
Yeah.
So.
But that has to be just very satisfying to you after all that time. That everybody comes up and has a good time.
It really was, and I don't know why we're talking about this and you're interviewing me, but it was a disaster waiting to happen because Bruno Sammartino is a mainstay of every NightTalk event. The day before, as you know, he got diverticulitis. Right. Disaster. I couldn't believe it. The DeFazio brothers, they couldn't make it. That's 2 wrestlers and a sheriff I couldn't get right off the top.
And on top of that, then, I decided that I wanted to look like David Johnson, so I wore glasses. And nobody recognized me. And that was good. I was kind of doing that as a test. I don't know if you noticed that.
I did not notice that. I thought you looked like a groovy uppie guy.
But or maybe nobody recognized me for good reason. I mean, that could be.
David Johnson couldn't even make it.
What, he's in the bill?
No, he was on vacation.
Oh,
Peggy Finnegan couldn't make it. We did have Kevin Benson.
Kevin Benson came by. Kevin and I had a long talk, and we have a share.
Who made the pizza?
Monticello's made the pizza.
Yeah. Did you like that, Kevin?
Delicious.
Good
Kevin
stuff.
says Kevin says good pizza, but he lived up in Erie when I was still up in Erie.
Did he really?
Yeah, but the 3 years of the Night Talk program. I mean, are you envisioning the 5th anniversary, the 10th anniversary now?
Just as long as they'll keep paying me to do this stuff, and as long as they don't can me, because in broadcasting, as you may or may not know, you can get fired just like that, drop of a hat. One day you're working.
Right,
next day you're sitting at home in your living room looking up the Miller website. Not much else to do.
Now, but how does that work on the cable side? Because I walk
they can fire you there too.
I walk in every day, and they put the numbers right up on with little tape.
Oh, the ratings.
The ratings, yes.
Yeah.
And they're like little clear little printed out numbers with decimal points.
Yeah.
And a couple tenths of a decimal point can. It's amazing that can like make your day or make you miserable.
See, on cable, if we even score a couple tenths of a decimal point, it's a major celebration.
And you do.
And you dance around the office naked.
You get jiggy with it at that point.
Yeah, we turn on the Tracy Miller website. We turn on some tunes.
How you doing post Jonesy? Are you all right?
Oh, the executive producer, Scott Jonesy Jones, has left the building permanently. We're doing just fine. As you may have noticed, we were a little rough at the beginning of the program, but we're working all the kinks out, working the bugs out. And actually, the artist formerly known as J.C. Smith has stepped up and done much of the stuff that was done before by others.
Doing new jobs and new things. It takes a little time, but I'm just thinking, the idea of you, Night Talk, and Scott Jones, I mean, it was sort of like this.
I know. It's kind of like Frick without Frack now, Laurel without Hardy.
I just thought maybe you were, kind of hurting. I mean, I thought maybe, we needed to reach out.
Clinton without Monica, yeah, I know what you're saying.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm just fine, as a matter of fact. Just a little more attention to detail, a little more work, a little more hands-on. Why the hell are you interviewing me, Scott? That's what I want to know.
That's what I do. No, I noticed.
I know that's what you do. But this is a talk show, and I'm the host guy.
But that's all right. But we could change chairs if you want. We could go back because I don't even. I mean, I know a little bit about your history because you were when I was leaving Saginaw, Michigan. You had gone there to.
I went for an interview in Saginaw, Michigan.
Right. Where I'd been an anchor there.
For a television anchor job, and you were still there when I interviewed there?
I think I had already left, but not by much.
And this is when I was sitting in Florida, having been out of a job, because as I said, you can get fired. It happens.
Right.
And you can always judge the quality of a job interview and the potential for the job, I think, by where they take you to lunch or dinner.
Arby's?
They took me to Ruby Tuesdays, which is like a mall chain. I just thought, oh, man. And then they took me to some restaurant by the river, but all the fish had bones in it. I just thought, and the unemployment with the auto thing, and it looked dark and dingy. I didn't want to be there. Of course, they didn't offer me the job, so it wasn't a problem. But.
Oh, that was the downside. But Saginaw, I actually enjoyed. I mean, I enjoyed Michigan. I liked it. And you could go up to Traverse City, down to Detroit. Erie, I loved the time that I spent in Erie. So I think you could have benefited by time in Saginaw. But I'm pretty content. If there's cable, I'm happy.
Did you say Saginaw at the end of every newscast?
I in no way did that. But so I know a little bit about that. You were there. That there was the time in Florida. But I don't even know where are you from originally.
To make a long story short, and then we're going to turn the tables, pal, and I'll actually interview you. I'm from Kankakee, Illinois, which is a small town 50 miles south of Chicago.
Sure, I've been there.
Indian for God Don't Let Me Die Here.
Right, because I went to college in the Chicago area.
Where?
And at Wheaton College in the western suburbs.
Right, okay.
And I worked a lot in politics before I got in the media there. In fact, I drove 30,000 miles one election year within the state boundaries of Illinois. So I've pretty much been.
Who were you working for in Illinois? So now we're really boring people because they're not from Illinois and they don't care. But
well, we can.
But go ahead. Who
I could go into the arcane.
Who were you working for in Illinois?
I can go into the arcane, state politics. If you want to start.
What year
it's hard
was it?
enough to get people to remember their state legislators.
Yeah.
Here, I was working on a presidential campaign in 1984, and I was on staff as a youth coordinator, and it was a successful campaign.
How about that? You didn't go to Iowa for the Iowa caucuses that year, did you? Or that would have been 83, actually.
83, no. No, you were in there?
I was in Iowa.
In Iowa in 83.
Yeah, so I went from Illinois to North Dakota to TV station.
Right.
Iowa to TV station.
In North Dakota where?
Bismarck.
In Bismarck, right. Cold.
Right. Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
Beautiful.
Florida, Rhode Island, Oklahoma here.
And so you've done the map.
Done the map, pretty much. Haven't really made it out to the West Coast.
I was going to say,
Don't know why.
you can get, Eugene, Oregon.
No.
The Portland.
No.
Seattle.
No. Murfreesboro. Peoria, Illinois. I spent 3 months in Peoria, Illinois. Got fired at a radio station there.
Now, is there a common denominator in the firings? Is there like always a certain, like a one day do you go in and just kind of?
Well, what I've liked to do at every television station is push the envelope a little bit and push the boundaries.
Like you do here.
Here, there seemingly are no boundaries.
Right.
That's why I haven't been fired yet.
And that's not quite as fun. I mean, you like something to push against.
No. I actually like this. I like remaining employed. I enjoy that the most, John.
No, but you kind of lose the edge of the danger.
Not really.
No?
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but, and you're right. What I'm hoping is that now that I've had total freedom, I can scale it back a little bit and find a happy medium and remain employed for the rest of my life. That's
the plan.
Buster. All right, when we come back, we're going to find out why the ratings have been in the tank ever since they made Scott Baker do the daytime instead of the nighttime news on Night Talk in a moment. Welcome back to Night Talk. Channel 4 anchorman Scott Baker is here. We're told his producer Mindy is on the line. Is he Mork to your Mindy?
Hey, Steve,
Hi.
I have a question. I wanted to actually admit on the air that he reads tabloids every day, and then I want to also have him answer the question about his fainting on the air at one point.
Those are two good questions.
Ooh,
and does he surf the web a lot?
He surfs. He's a computer geek.
You ever see him on this? That's hard to believe. Did you ever see him on this site featuring the Tracy Miller and her husband?
No comment.
Aha. All right, go ahead.
Well, all anchors can always exact revenge on producers in various and sundry ways, and I want to make that very, very clear. No, you read a lot, I'm sure.
Yes.
For this, I mean, how many newspapers? Would you say?
I don't know. I can say it, but it just sounds ridiculous.
No, it does sound ridiculous.
Like 3 or 4, but I mean, not every day. And if I don't get time,
but no,
it's
that's
one or two.
All right.
You know?
Well,
I only just started reading the Tribune Review. I didn't read it for the first 2 years I was here. Isn't that horrible?
Well, I'm going to pass that on.
Well, it's Ruth Ann's column. That's why I read it. But
yeah. Okay. So I read 6 or 7 newspapers a day, and we get something like 35 or 40 magazines at the house every month.
Right.
And on top of that, I try to read 30 pages every day in sort of a nonfiction hardback book, so it's not all just sort of what I call transitory gunk. And I listen to like 6 or 7 radio stations a day. You know, we have 3 VCRs in my house that tape different things. I mean, so I'm taping stuff all the time, and it's just, and I'm online, I'm on the keyboard, I'm watching CNN, the Fox News Channel. So in the middle of all of that deep and serious research, in order to keep up with Cyril Wecht, I have to read the Inquirer, the Globe, and the Star. Now, to be honest, I think he's only in the Globe or the Star. He's a consultant to one of them. Yeah. But I think that if you read the top 3 tabloids and page through them every week, then at least you've plugged into something.
Well, it can't hurt.
And there would have been so many things I would not have known about our potential county executive that I found out in those magazines.
As you also well know, too many mainstream stories now start out in the tabloids, and once they reach a certain level of legitimacy, they're everywhere, so you might as well be on the ground floor.
Right. Well, and for your discriminating tabloid readers, and I think I started to get this from Doug Hurth, if we need to blame somebody, because he used to be in the building, right? Yeah. And I used to come in about the same time his show went on the air. Right. And so I would see him in the hallways, and so I would pick them up. But for your discriminating tabloid readers, your Inquirer is sort of your safest as far as reliability, but they're a little less adventurous, right?
People wouldn't necessarily know that, just from the reputation.
Then the Star is maybe just seems to be slightly less reliable just by a skosh, but they're a little spunkier. And then the Globe is going to take a few more risks that the Star and the Inquirer won't, but they're also going to go wrong more times. But you know, if you're looking, and I tell you, it is true. You read stuff in there, and then 2 weeks later, it's in the life section of USA.
All right, so the Human Freaking Encyclopedia, congratulations. Now, what about fainting on the air? That's what we want to know.
Yes, thank you, Mindy, for asking. Yeah, no, but I'm sure you've done embarrassing things on the air, right?
Many.
Yeah, well, nightly, yes, and
yes.
one of them, several of them before I even came out here tonight.
Right.
No, that happened. Yeah, when I was up in Erie, and it was.
You were on a television station in Erie, PA.
I was actually. I mentioned to you a couple weeks ago. I was actually, or last week, that I was going to maybe even bring the tape, and I just forgot about it.
Right.
Maybe
sure.
someday in the future.
Because you just don't want to embarrass yourself.
No,
that's
because
all. I wanted to see it.
You know, I do seminars for college kids about 7 or 8 times a year, and I always show the tape. I'm not embarrassed to show the tape, but the circumstances were quite simply that it was the night before the Gulf War started. Of course, we didn't know the Gulf War was going to start.
No, they didn't call you and tell you first.
They had drawn the line in the sand. And so it was my idea. I said, let's have a town hall meeting. And we just, at the last minute, we organized it within like 24 hours. We invited 500 people up in Erie to come down to City Hall.
500 people.
Fill Erie City Hall. And we were going to preempt the network primetime program, and that afternoon I come in, I'm going to EP this thing and then host it.
This means you're going to executive produce it as
Executive producer. We should, and I think it's good to clue in a lot of the inside TV stuff here.
Yeah.
In fact, we could go back and talk about hitting the generic live shots too, if you want to. But it's
the second one we've blown in a row, Scott. We had a record. We hit like, you know, by the way, I'm a master at hitting generic live shots.
I know you are. I've seen you do it.
See?
But even when we say it, they don't know what
like tonight.
But people may not know what a generic live shot is. But we can come back to that.
Yeah.
So it's the night before the.
Go ahead.
This is my good story.
I know. I like it. Yeah. So you're in Erie. There's 500 people.
And I'm terribly ill. Bad pasta salad at lunch. 5 o'clock, I can't even do the 6 o'clock news. I go home, I go to sleep, I wake up at 7 o'clock. My fever is 102.8 degrees.
Ooh.
Take some medicine. I go down to City Hall at 7:30, and 7:45, the audience is there. I tell them, listen, I don't feel good, but I think we're going to get through this. 8 o'clock, the open rolls live from Erie City Hall, Newswatch 35 town hall meeting. The floor director cues me, and I say, good evening, I'm Scott Baker. Down.
Well, now we have to have you back just to see the tape next time.
With a stagger step. You know, when I fought to stand, and the guy in the front row kind of caught me.
That's nice.
And people were at home were very confused. Thought maybe like anti-war protesters shot me or something. And I felt pretty good at that point. I was actually pretty peaceful. I was out for 3.5 minutes. Paramedics came in, were loading me up. They faded to black. The people at home for about that period of time didn't know what was going on. They went ahead and faded back to the primetime program for a couple minutes, which was on Tuesday nights, CBS at that time was Rescue 911. Sadly today to think about, but William Shatner walks out and he says, in a medical emergency, time is of the essence. And then an ambulance goes screeching by the show and there's a guy passed out. So now the viewers at home are doubly confused and flooding the station with calls.
Seriously?
Yes.
They were...
The other stations in Erie sent cameras to film me being wheeled out or videotape me being wheeled out. They didn't know if I had been attacked by somebody. So I was, and then finally the news director hosted the rest of the show, and I just had to live for weeks and weeks with the humiliation of every morning in DJ in Erie, Pennsylvania doing, he's fallen and he can't get up. So yes, I've passed out on live primetime television. I've seen people pass out on tape. But I don't know about live in primetime, which is why I'm always a good guest, because you never know.
I've never heard about anything like that. And as you know, blooper tapes circulate throughout the industry of dozens of faux pas and screw-ups.
I've kept mine pretty close at hand. You have to come to my seminar to see that tape.
Okay. I don't have to come to your seminar.
No, you don't.
Can't you just bring the tape here? We can put it on the air?
Yeah, but see, then we risk losing control of that thing. It'll end up on somebody's internet site.
Here's Bill real quick before the break. Bill?
Hi, how you doing?
Hey.
Hey, I got a question. How does a TV or radio station exactly get their ratings?
Well, it's magic. I think they make them up. And actually, the beloved and wise people who run the Nielsen company select, scientifically, allegedly, something like 400 and some odd people within our viewing area, which does not include just Pittsburgh and even parts of West Virginia, but also down into Monongalia County, West Virginia, and out in parts of, the rural countryside. And they find people who are willing to have a computer actually attached to their television set, which kind of monitors exactly what you're watching. And they have it's supposed to be demographically diverse, this pool, so that you get people by geography, by race, by income, by gender, by all of those things. And one of the secrets is, by the way, in fact, and I'm not, maybe there's a Nielsen family watching and this would help John, and we don't want to help him too much. But you actually have to watch for 5 minutes. Like if you're just flipping through, that doesn't count. And they actually try to get you have to watch in 5-minute increments to actually get credit to count
them. Now, really,
I
always thought it was you had to get like 7.5, like a little more than the 15 minutes. No, I mean, I believe you.
Well, it's like if somebody started watching at 9:10 tonight, and they watched until 9:16. Then you would get credit for them
for the first quarter
both
hour, right?
No, for both quarter hours.
Oh, no kidding.
If you get them into both quarter hours, so they would count. So those 400 some odd people who around here, they make up the scientifically representative pool. Now they're changed every couple months. I think they add in a few, they take out a few.
Yeah.
So over the course of a year or two, I think the numbers swap out.
Does that answer your question, Bill?
Yeah, it is a little more complicated than I thought, but that answers it. Okay.
It's scary.
Okay, thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you, sir. We'll back in a moment with our final segment with Scott Baker, and we will talk about the actual ratings a little bit, I think, in a moment. Back on Night Talk with Scott Baker, Channel 4 anchorman. So you guys have a new news director coming in.
We do.
It's such a tiny little world in the broadcast community. Jonesy just went to Buffalo to be an assistant news director at a TV station. This guy now, who's Jonesy's boss, who Jonesy was the executive producer of the show, he is coming to Pittsburgh. Known as the visual lady, he's coming to Pittsburgh to be the news director of Scott's station, when Jonesy might then be elevated.
For transcripts of Night Talk, right to.
Well, I sit here.
Is there a flow chart that we can have?
Dust.
Right. Now, and you knew this man.
I interviewed for a job with him in Hartford, Connecticut. He seemed like a nice guy. He seemed like a smart guy.
I don't know. I know 4 or 5 people who have worked for him in different places.
And did they say good things about him?
I have not really talked to them much, and I don't know much about him myself. But I'm looking forward to it.
In fact, I just talked to Jonesy today, who screamed over to your new boss, "Hey, one of your new employees is on,
your show,
tonight."
Wow. Yeah.
How about that?
And how was he worried about that? Or
he said, "What the hell is he doing that for? That guy's a competitor. That guy's going to get the axe the moment I set foot in the door."
That's what he said.
No.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
No, he doesn't care.
Well,
he doesn't even know where the bathroom is yet.
Yeah, I mean, the last time that
I heard he's sucking up to Sally Wiggin. That's all I heard.
The last time I was on your show, the next day my whole schedule got yanked around. So I'm just looking. I'm just curious. The only reason I came back was to see what was happening.
So how about the ratings? They're always very competitive. KD has a lot of brand name loyalty. You guys have done well over the years. This place, Channel 11 was what I mean, even though we're on PCNC. The Big Brother station here has done well over the years. Pretty nip and tuck in most of the time slots. You guys have, correct me if I'm wrong, and please literally correct me if I'm wrong, have taken a bit of a hit lately. Not a fatal hit, not a super duper hit.
Well, it's the fun thing about Pittsburgh that it's a really good news town.
Yeah.
I mean, where you have 3 very competitive stations who are going at it every day in one kind of concentrated area, and everybody has their strong points and weak points, and some people will do well in ratings in one way, and some people will do well in ratings in another way.
Right, the demographics.
And they always talk about that. What are the good demos?
Is it 25 to 54? Is it 18 to 34? I've never figured it out. Is it just women? I mean, I don't know.
What are the demos of this show? Do you know?
I have absolutely no idea. We have people all over the map. We want people from all over the map.
Anybody.
We want human beings with functioning brains. They will just please watch.
No, theoretically, the demographic is 25 to 54. Although I think now they're really looking that news viewers are really more over 30. So it'll be 30. They may create a new 35 to 54 demographic. But now, why would this be? Because in a town like Pittsburgh, and maybe we could make this as the quiz for the night, but in a town like Pittsburgh where there are a lot of older residents, and they are heavy news viewers and very sophisticated news viewers. I mean, they watch for reasons, they like people for certain reasons, and they make up a huge pool of the news viewers in Pittsburgh. So advertisers, though, like these people who are 25 to 54, is that because the older people don't have money? No, it's not. What's the real reason?
The real reason is that the old people are a lot smarter with their money, and the kids are stupid, and they're more likely to spend money with this crap that they advertise on television. That's what I've read.
Yes, that's part. The older people are wiser, but the advertising, and the way I've always understood it is that the older you get, when you're 60 years old, your brand preferences are set. You rarely switch brands. If you drive a certain kind of car, you're probably going to get another Buick. If you brush your teeth with Crest, you're going to probably brush your teeth with Crest.
If you've been looking at the Miller website all your life, you're not going to switch to, pinkpanties.com or anything else.
Yeah, okay. And so you go for that younger demographic that's more in flux economically in their lives. And
but I mean,
and they're forming those partnerships with our with retailers and major industrial corporations that will last a lifetime.
What's the atmosphere around your newsroom? Is it just always as it ever was? Do you feel you've slipped a little? Oh boy, the new news director's coming. Boy, now we're things are going to juice up. And
we've had a lot of fun lately, trying new things and different things. And I think that we've been strong in certain areas. And basically, when things are going great, we like to take all the credit. And when things are going lousy, we blame Oprah.
Right. Oh, because she was an incredibly strong lead-in, as they say, and now she's not as strong as she used to.
Yeah, Judge Judy is kicking her all over the map.
How about that? But Oprah, as you know, for many, many years, was the best television program you could possibly put in front of a newscast in most markets in the country. If you had her, you were gold.
Yeah, but now, and I've interviewed Oprah, and the show can be interesting from day to day. But some days Judge Judy's doing 3 times the audience that Oprah is. So, but Oprah has a way of reinventing herself, and I'm not counting her out, because I mean, if there's anybody not to count out who has the capacity to kind of come back here in the fall and storm the gates, it would be the woman who makes $100 million a year, right?
Yeah.
So, and I don't think she needs to get the little frilly collar like Judge Judy just to do that. So, and who knows? We'll see. But your lead-in, you're very dependent on lead-ins, but you have your core viewers, and we have our core viewers, and David, who just walked in. I mean, Channel 11 has their core viewers, and it's just fun to kind of keep at it, because I think we're all better, right? Because competition, I guess, what meant to conspire together, right? And it makes each product better.
We should maybe have you and David and Ken Rice as kind of the
a free-for-all? Is that what you're thinking of, a free-for-all?
Would that be good? I don't know why I say that. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with all the other anchor women or men or whatever, but
I'd come on with a frilly collar.
He'd come on with a frilly collar.
And I'll come on like Oprah, cool. and Ken can come on like Rosie.
All right,
and we'll do. We'll all come on like our lead-ins.
I think we've only got about 45 seconds left, JC.
You go, girl.
That's right.
I'm going to run on.
In your household, where your wife is the news columnist for the Tribune Review, and you're Mr. Walking Encyclopedia, can't stop talking about how many damn newspapers he reads. Do you guys drive each other crazy with the information explosion?
But if I'm just kidding. Late, I was accused of reading tabloids.
I understand.
Which I did, but I was
you were just
I did check.
Do you drive each other crazy? Did you say, let's just stop talking about the news for like 5 seconds and talk about something mundane?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, great. We still got 15 seconds left.
Now we have 15 seconds to fill. So let's get back to you in this capacity of getting fired everywhere you go.
Not everywhere I go. Just a lot
not
of
right here. Yeah.
Just Rush Limbaugh, he was fired several
places. Do you
think
you've grown past that point?
I believe so.
Yeah.
But I will never, to make a concluding comment, make the mistake ever that I won't be fired again. I will always assume that it's possible.
It is possible.
Absolutely.
I agree.
It is always possible.
Right. Well, hopefully, in some way, I've helped you get at least 1 or 2 of those little Nielsen homes and hold them for 5 minutes past your quarter hour to improve your quarter hour cume.
Scott Baker, he's got one hell of a cume. At least that's what Ruth Ann told me. Thanks so much. Back in a moment with David Johnson. Stick around.
Welcome back to Night Talk. I'm not John McIntyre, and I don't do a very good John McIntyre impression, but David Johnson is standing by with the 10 o'clock news preview. David.
Yes, and by the way, I read in Pittsburgh and City Paper every day. Oh, wait, those are weeklies.
And not just the ads.
That doesn't count. I'm sorry. Of course, we'll have the latest on the shooting in Los Angeles, and we'll have the weather with Kevin, sports with John Fedko, all the other goings-on in Pittsburgh. Nice to see you again, sir. How you doing?
How you doing?
You're off. You're off, Mike.
Very well.
Good.
A pleasure, indeed.
Last time he was here, the reason that bit was funny is because he did the 10 o'clock news tease with me.
I remember that. That was good stuff.
You guys didn't talk about that before, did you?
No.
Not repeating information. No. Look at the overhead shot.
Isn't that a cool shot?
Strong.
Look at that. Hey, the freaking moon is gone again.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Remember when Dan
This is low rent night.
Remember when Dan
As if every night isn't low rent night. What's that?
Yes.
Remember when Dan Rather did the new standing up for a while?
Stand and deliver.
Tom Brokaw does a new standing up right now. You see that?
Right.
You know, David does an excellent Tom Brokaw.
Sure. The wall.
David, can you do your Tom Brokaw?
Well, you remember that time you left the air down there in Miami, Dan? You remember that? What about that? You don't bring that up, do you? Out there.
As Imus says.
Out there.
Gotta go. David is next. George Bush is not. So long.